There's one thing I've noticed about my airline reports that differentiates me from similar channels. That being, I've only ever flown economy class. And honestly, I don't mind that. I'm very grateful that I've been able to fly enough to make this trip report thing work at all. But that'll kinda change in this video, where I'll be flying SkyWest Airlines under Delta Connection from Helena to Salt Lake City in first class. You may remember I did the opposite route a while ago, under the same flight number, 3880. But this time, it'll be in first class, and yeah, this is legit the first time in my life flying literally anything other than economy. And though it's a short flight, I'm really looking forward to it, so let's go. Helena Regional Airport is one of the smallest airports we've covered on this channel, if not the smallest. It's usually a breeze flying out of here, but for some reason security took time today. Anyways, we're at gate 3, the Delta gate. Helena is consistent with the gates of each of their 3 routes. 3 is the Delta Salt Lake flight, 2 is United to Denver, and 1 is Alaska to Seattle. The aircraft for today's flight to Salt Lake is already here. It's going to be the usual, an Embraer 175. November 281 Sierra Yankee, 6 years old at the time. Because this is a newer one, it's got the larger enhanced winglet type. It's currently the only plane here. I was originally supposed to take this flight in economy on a different day, but when I called Delta to change it to this day, they offered me to upgrade to first on this leg for 5,900 miles. Figured I may as well take it. My boarding group was 1, and I was actually the first person on the plane today, which was pretty cool. First in first class, also my first in the first row. I mean, this is definitely the most comfortable seat I've ever been in, being so large, along with all the padding. Makes me wish this flight was longer, but that probably would have costed more miles. And of course there's going to be a ton of legroom being at the front. It's almost unlimited. Not quite though. The tray table comes out of the right armrest. It can be folded in 2 ways, short square and long across your seat. Pre-flight drink service started with a small water bottle. Then there was a choice of drinks served in a plastic cup, from which I chose Sprite.
That was Victoria and Sam that you met on the way into our very best. We're going to take great care of you. Please give them your attention when they go through the safety announcements for this aircraft.
Vaping, the use of e-cigarettes or any smokeless product, including chewing tobaccos, is not allowed on any Delta flight. Federal law prohibits tampering with, disabling, or destroying restroom smoke detectors. There are 4 exits located in a rear overhead bin identified with a placard. Refer to the safety information card for instructions on how to use the infant light vest for children who weigh less than 35 pounds. If
Figured I should remind viewers that because this is my first flight in first class, this is literally my first flight in first class, which means I may not really know what I should be expecting on here. So you know, this is gonna be a real hard one to review and score. I mean, who knows, maybe there's a frequent regional jet first class flyer watching right now who will think that I'm being too easy on a first class product, and that I should be expecting more, and I'm sorry about that. Also, the fact that this was a miles upgrade means I can't really talk much about the value for money or anything. I'll just do what I can to give it a fair score for what I believe should be expected on a 1-hour first class flight with a regional jet based on what I've seen in other trip reports and stuff. But in the end, I'm very new to this first class thing, so if there's something you feel I'm being too easy or even too hard on the airline for on this flight, I apologize. And yeah, if you have any input on my take, feel free to let me know in the comments.
with our new fast free Wi-Fi experience. However, we are excited to offer you Wi-Fi for purchase and free messaging on today's flight. Connect to the Delta Wi-Fi network to get started. We invite you to enjoy our service offerings, including water, coffee, tea, and snacks, beer and wine.
For the first round of service on this 1-hour hop, the crew had a basket of different snacks and let us choose some. I don't know what the limit was, but I grabbed 3. Alright, so first we got some potato chips, couldn't go wrong with those. And we can't have a Delta flight without their Biscoff, so I grabbed one of those as well. Finally, I got a small Biscoff sandwich with a vanilla filling, which was probably the tastiest snack on here. Unlike in economy, the first class express service offers the full drink selection, from which I chose Coke. As you can see, it was served in a glass cup this time. Before the descent there was a second service, from which I chose another bag of potato chips, along with honey mustard pretzels, which were actually quite tasty.
Pretty early, about 20 minutes early, so it looks like it's nice down there, calm winds, good visibility, a few thin cloud layers above the airfield, temperature's right at freezing. Once we go on the ground, probably 7 to 10 minutes to our gate. The parking is in gate 38, Alpha 38 this afternoon. It's been our pleasure having you on board. We appreciate your business. Hope to see you in the future on Delta flight. Once again, we will be on the ground today and about...
For some reason, Delta's free Wi-Fi was not available on this flight, even in first class. I don't know if that's a regional jet thing or if it just wasn't working. Only a 1-hour flight though, so I don't really care.
City for the local time is 2:44 p.m. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and your carry-on items stowed until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. As we reach our gate, we invite you to use the Flying Delta app for important baggage and connection information. You may receive an email asking you to share your feedback. We value your feedback and use your responses to improve.
Just a reminder that some of these scores were tricky to determine given my inexperience with first class and what I should expect. And I can't really determine value for money given I got upgraded with miles long after I booked the original ticket. Plus, this was originally booked as a single fare multi-stop ticket and the other flights were not upgraded. But you know what, I think it was an okay flight for first class. Based on what I've seen, I already know the seats are miles better than what we see with short haul on European airlines. They're padded perfectly with almost unlimited legroom, at least for me. And I think I know enough about first class to know that I probably shouldn't expect any lie-flat bed on an Embraer 175. And you know, even then, the recline was significant. The crew member who served me was wonderful, she's getting a solid 9. Regarding amenities, there was nothing really different from economy, so that seriously could be improved. Cabin was cleaned, I'd say decently well. Now, the service part was the most challenging to score. Based on what I've heard about first class and seen in other airline trip reports, I feel like there should be some sort of meal. But at the same time, this was a short 1-hour flight, and even then there were 2 separate in-flight snack services where we were allowed to take multiple things of our choice. And I couldn't even count how many choices there were. It was quite a good selection. Drinks were served in a glass in flight, and though that wasn't the case pre-flight, there were still 2 beverages given before takeoff, which was more than I would have expected. I'm gonna give the service an average score of 7. I think that's fair. This will bring the final score to a good 7.3 out of 10. Overall, I enjoyed the flight. Obviously, it was scored with a much higher standard than an economy flight would be. And you know, it turned out quite well. I'd say it's a decent first class product for a 1-hour flight on a regional jet. But once again, I'm inexperienced with first, so it'd be great if you'd let me know in the comments what your take would be on this. Hopefully my score was fair enough, and yeah, I thank you all for joining me on this trip. A38 is the gate we parked at. I couldn't see it from my seat, but to the left from here we got November 291 Sierra Yankee, an Embraer 175 that I had flown on over a year prior into this airport. I didn't film that flight though. Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. See ya.